So up till now what we have studied is basics of NLP. उसमें in the first lecture, if I have opened up the PPT, yeah. So basics में we started with the what is NLP, then issues. So what are the issues that we can handle with this natural language processing? What are the issues that are coming by processing natural language via machine? So ambiguity, complex representation, information, mixing of visual cues, use of idioms, metaphors, all these things creates issues whenever we are handling language via machines. For example, two sentence might mean two different things for two people coming from different backgrounds. Two sentences might mean different things if it's a phrase, if it's a idiom, and if it's a normal sentence. Two sentences make different things, while one can be a movie dialogue, one can be just famous sentence, and another can be actually that thing is happening. Okay, so while processing these languages, while processing a natural language that we use in our day-to-day life is extremely difficult via machine. So these things we are going to handle in this. Then what are the applications? We have already seen language generation, text classification, machine translation, right? Grammar checker, okay, we had one assignment on autocorrect. So we have seen that, okay. Then in lecture number 2, what do we studied was just basics. So features, so basically whenever we are processing a natural language, what do we aim at is we extract, we find out vocabulary, that is the unique words out of the whole corpus, and we calculate the features out of it. Now calculating those features is different in different scenarios. So extracting those features mean different thing, right? So one way is word count method. So here positive and negative words are counted. So this was one way. Now for while pre-processing, so we need to pre-process the sentence, basically language, whenever we are giving it as input to the machine. So first thing what we do is we change the case to lowercase. We tokenize our sentence into group of words or maybe group of characters depending upon what kind of application you have. Now suppose you are having character level prediction. You are predicting next character. Okay, so what would be your tokens? Tokens would be your characters, unique characters in your whole data set. That can be your space, your next line character, your alphanumeric characters, right? So everything that is covered in the text, so all kind of those things are your vocabulary. Okay, then you have feature extraction. So there are many ways to extract features out of it. So one way we are going to see here is so one way that uh, um, we have is this one, where we count the so suppose we want to do sentiment analysis, we will count the number of positive words and number of negative words in the whole data set. Okay, and then we'll say, okay, we'll count positive and negative words, and we say, okay, this is my feature set simply for a particular sentence. So sum of positive frequency, negative, and bias, right? So this is one way to extract features. Now we will see what are the other more popular methods for doing feature extraction. So this was simple. Then stop word removal, removing words which doesn't mean anything, which are not able to help in my text classification or in my application where we are doing where we want something as output, like for example the word the is not going to play a role, either it can be a positive to it or it can be a negative to it, right? So removing those words. Then stemming and lemmatization, you must know the difference between these two. So stemming is removing the uh, uh, suffix part from the word, and so stemming is going to the root word. So study, studying, studies, everything will chop off. Your later part is chopped off, and study and study. Now there is a problem in stemming that it does not represent the original word. So that's why we prefer lemmatization, because it generates the meaningful root word. So because study, studi and study, these two are treated differently, although both of the words arise from the same study. That means from same meaning, right? So stemming is not that good in terms of finding out the root word. So that's why we use lemmatization. It will out of studies and out of studying, it will create study itself, study. So it will find out root word which is meaningful. So this is the difference. Then certain words are there like us. So this is not us. While we are changing case, we need to check what are the abbreviations in the whole data set. And then there are methods for this also. We'll see as we go on further with this course. Okay, lowercase you already know. Then in the third lecture, what we had studied was um, bag of words model, I think. Yes. We have seen multiple approaches. So first one was bag of words. So in bag of words model, each and every word was treated as a feature, and these words, frequencies of these words were counted, and these frequencies were given as input to the model simply. So if I have a sentence, so a count of each and every word in the sentence was taken, and this count will be passed as input to my model, to the model that we want to train. Okay, this is the first approach. Second was okay, we have also seen n-grams. If I had opened that up, lecture 4, this one. Okay, this is lecture 5. So in n-grams, we divide a sentence into subgroups. So so if I talk about unigram, that would be count of one word is considered. If so, problem with bag of word was each and every word was appearing in only count was considered, context was not considered, its semantic meaning was not considered. And definitely if I am talking about bigram, if I'm talking about two words together, so that will give me a better idea about the sentence. Cat is sitting, cat sat on the mat. So cat sat is a word that it is a bigram, and it is cat sat is giving me better idea about the sentence rather than only cat. Okay, so the idea was to consider multiple groups, subgroups in the sentence, and then train that model using those. But there is a disadvantage for this n-gram approach. That was, so what was the disadvantage? Anyone?
Much like computational complexity.
Yeah, and vocabulary size. So if you have 100, yeah, if you have 100 unique words, so suppose, okay, let's take a 5. This is apple. So this is apple, this apple. 3 bigrams are generated from only 3 word sentence. So that so it's number of words that are generated, number of bigrams that are generated are very high. So if it was a 4 word sentence, this is apple, and it is, and so again, so this apple, this and is apple, is and apple, and so complexity, number of vocabulary size is very large in this engram. Okay, then we had another approach. Okay, term frequency, right? After that we had TF-IDF. So advantage of in TF-IDF was we are considering, like, in a sentence how many times a word is appearing. We are giving weightage to a word that is appearing in a sentence. So we are giving, okay, number of if a word is appearing many times, like if I'm talking about cat, so in a paragraph, so because I'm talking about cat, so it must be appearing so many times. So okay, I say, okay, cat is given more weightage than other words that are in the sentence. So in term frequency, so basically it is the concept of weights, where instead of just frequency counts, we give weight. Okay, so do I need to write the formulas, or
Oh, I think it's fine.
it's fine? Okay. So after that, which approach? TF-IDF, Ngram, bag of word. These 3 were frequency-based approach. Then we had prediction-based approach, where we have continuous bag of words and skip grams. We also have word to vec and globe. So these are all the approaches that we have. So this is a pre-trained model. Pre-trained weights are there by Google. So you just have to download it, use it uh, in your data set, or what in your model training, while you're model training. So glove is nothing, it's just implementation of word embedding using co-occurrence metrics. So in glove, what happens is, if I have a set of words, so word A, word B, word C, word A, word B, word C, I will write a co-occurrence matrix, and we will just find out the frequencies, corresponding frequencies, and we will say, okay, these 2 words appear together. So glove is based on the concept of co-occurrence matrix, and word to vec is basically identifying, like, context of the word. Okay, context of a particular word in which it is appearing. So word to vec was based on this. Then we have encoding and embedding. So you already know, in encoding you have frequency counts. In embedding you have feature, because in encoding what was happening was, for each and every word you are writing so many. Okay, this was a sentence. So you are writing, so your vocabulary was, this is a cat, so 1 0 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 0 so many zeros are there, so sparse representation, very huge dimension. To avoid this, they reduce its size, and they just create embedding matrix, which is number of features and its values, like how this word belongs to which feature, and by which probability. So this is the embedding, this is the encoding, simply. Okay, so this was up till now, various approaches in which words are represented and features are extracted. Now, after extracting feature, process is the same. You just give those features as input to your model, you train it and you tune it, and you get your output. So up till now, I think everything was easy. Okay. Any doubts, any issues up till here, though you can ask. You have to go through skip grams and continuous bag of words yourself. Then let's have a look at another approach, which was okay. So part of speech. So what do we do is, because while saying a sentence, what happens is context is important, and it's each and every word's position is important, and this part of speech helps in identifying the context, the position of the word, noun phrase, verb phrase, because first a noun phrase appears, then a verb phrase appears. So it is able to tell us the structure, tell the model the structure of the sentence. Okay, so part of speech. So each and every word is attached with a part of speech, like which is a verb phrase, which is a noun phrase. Okay, so process of assigning one of the parts of speech to the given word is called POS tagging. Then, okay, these are the components of the language: syntax, semantics, pragmatics. So these things are important. So how POS is helpful in identifying named entities, co-reference resolution, and then speech recognition. Like co-reference is like I'm using word like it, and so there it is important. Then yes, let's have a look at Markov chains. So can anyone uh, uh, can anyone tell what is a Markov property and what it does in brief?
Like it can be thought of in like probabilistic terms where the future basically depends only on the state of the current cell and not exactly on the history. So like if you do like a conditional probability type of thing, you only take into account the current state to predict the future state.
Exactly. So Markov property says like present state of any event is only dependent upon probability of next event is only dependent upon the current event, and it does not takes into account whatever previously that was happened, maybe history that has happened. Okay. So in Markov, while I'm talking about Markov chain, so this is a graph, transition graph, and which is having set of states which defines like verb phrase, that is POS tag, set of states, and the transition probability. What are the chances that if I'm at verb phrase, what are the chances that I'll go to my next word is also a verb phrase, my next word is also a noun phrase, and my next word is something else. O means other. So I don't know. So so that probability is defining like if I'm at a particular state, what are the chances that I'll go to next state? So if it's 0.6, so I'll go to noun phrase. So 60% chance that I'll go to noun phrase if I'm at a verb phrase. Okay. So this is Markov chain. Now there are two types of tables. While if I discuss about this Markov chain, okay, this is, let me reshare the screen. One thing that is skipped up till here was language modeling. You have to, one topic that was skipped was this one. This one, where while calculating these probabilities, just prepare one numerical on this. Okay, that can come in your exam. You have to find out if you are given a sentence, you have to find out the probabilities of appearance of a bigram. Okay, similarly unigram, bigram and trigram, and n-gram. So this is the final probability of n-gram. So you have to prepare this one. Okay, count of words of up till now, and then nth word, and then basically n minus 1 grams and n gram. Okay, so just prepare one numerical. Examples are given in this PPT itself, shared to you. Okay, so remember this chain rule itself, and this chain rule will be used in your hidden Markov model itself, Markov chains itself. Okay, so, and one thing, one topic that was also discussed was your perplexity. So prepare, just have an idea about perplexity also. Perplexity is nothing, it's just giving you an idea about how complex your model is. So perplexity should be low. So perplexity gives you, suppose you are getting a perplexity of 40 or 50, so that is very high, and it should not be very high. Uh, Perplexity represent, like in a natural language that you and me speak, perplexity score is low. So if your model is giving outputting a sentence which is having perplexity score very high, so that is not considered as a good model. Okay, so one thing is this. Okay, and then we have one more topic which was prepare skipgram and CBOW yourself.
Okay, man.
Yes, for language modeling, I hope you have this idea, like how this generative language modeling works. So language modeling is nothing. If you talk about finding out, so if you have a sentence, what is the chances of, or what is your next word be? Okay, so it's nothing, just you want to find out the next word. Now, generally we have start word, start symbol. So we associate start symbol with each and every sentence, start and end symbol. So end symbol is \s. They are representing it like this. You can represent it any way. Okay, in any way. Uh, in generative model, because this is a bigram example, so you have start symbol and len, and then you find out probabilities for all the possible bigrams, and you select the one having highest probability, which is the next bigram that is having highest probability, then it is appearing, and so on. Okay, so this is language modeling. So I think language modeling is used in machine. Okay, so right now, just have a look at this type of numerical also. Like in language modeling, suppose you are given a bigram probability. What are the chances of occurrence of a next bigram, or what are the chances of a particular sentence in a corpus? So prepare just that kind of numericals also. Okay. So so perplexity we have discussed. This is a formula for perplexity. Yeah, that was it. Okay, so last topic that we are going to discuss today is application of this. So we have revised 50% of syllabus quickly, and if you have any questions, you can ask. Then we can. Now we have discussed Pierce tags. Now we'll see transition matrix. So it is for moving from one of the states in hidden Markov model. We are discussing about Markov chains now. So Pierce tags, like associating each and every word with a category, and that category can be noun phrase, verb phrase, preposition phrase, anything. And then transition matrix is movement from one state to another, and all the possible states are given in transition matrix. And in emission matrix, it's what are the chances of appearance of a particular word from given a state. Okay, that is your emission matrix. Okay, then you have vocabulary. You know that it is a set of unique words. Okay, this is important. Replace every unknown word with a special tag. What happens is, suppose you have a data set which is having 10,000 words. Okay, and then suppose a new word came in the test data, which is, let's say, which is so you don't want to add, because your vocabulary is not having that word. So while pre-processing the text data, what you do is you replace all those words which were not already there with the unknown tag, that is UNK tag. You replace it with that. Basically, you associate this unknown tag with the particular word which is not already there in the vocabulary to simplify things. You can also add that in the vocabulary, but that will again because in your whole training data set it was not there, so there's no use of adding it into your vocabulary. Okay, so that's why we add a special tag known as UNK to the word that is already not there. Then Viterbi algorithm. So most likely sequence of POS tags. So how to find that noun phrase is appearing before which verb phrase and so on. So basically you want to know the underlying structure of your language. Suppose in English, a noun phrase appears first and verb phrase appears next to the noun phrase, and adjective phrase appears before the verb phrase, or so many other things are there. Preposition phrase appears where. So those things you want to know what are the sequence, basically language modeling kind of thing. Okay, so Viterbi algorithm helps to do that. So initially you add a initial state pi, and you calculate the probability of moving from pi to your other noun and noun phrase, verb phrase, and whatever else is there, you have specified it as O. Okay, now your sentence was, yes, I love to learn. So initially you move from start to the other state I, and you calculate the probability 0.15 and so on. So this process will be repeated until basically you have to check I is appearing where, and okay, so let's, yes, so here you have if you have moved from initial state to a particular state, and you are moving from this state to any other state, so you calculate probability, you calculate all the probabilities, all the chances, and you move in direction whichever is having higher probability. Now suppose if you have zero point 0.5 and 0.5 in both the directions, what will you choose? So you will check the next probability with that, because love word is appearing here in the verb phrase also and in the noun phrase also. So you will check the uh, probability that is uh, for a particular word, from that state, whichever is higher, you will select that one. So this way you want to you want to know the higher probability words. Okay, so you are just finding out the POS tags associated with each and every word. You have found this O was better, you have found this verb phrase was better for this, and so on. And then you are writing down the probability, selecting the one which is having the higher probability, and you are moving from one POS tag to other, basically states. Okay, and then you can say, okay, probability for this sequences multiplication of the whole set of probabilities that you have moved up till now. Okay, so for this you require two matrices. So just calculation part. Just remember these formulas, that's it, nothing nothing much you have to do. Backward pass, forward pass. So it's nothing, simply just you have to identify POS tags till your sentence is completed for your whole sentence. Okay, any questions, anything that you have studied and that is not clear to you up till here? I've told you important things that you have to study for from unit 1 and half of unit 2, and in the upcoming on Wednesday we'll finish attention. Okay, and we'll do revision also in last few minutes. Go through everything that is taught and ask questions. Oh, so sorry. Ask questions whenever is your upcoming lecture. Okay, so that's it for today.